All right, everyone, going to be getting into the Sunday Night Football DraftKings Showdown preview here for you guys. Hopefully, we can keep up the good streak of the Showdown coverage, and seemingly another good Sunday is being had right now. Fingers crossed, so a lot of my exposure was in the afternoon. And I bring that up because my boy Demario Douglas finally having a pretty big game. He was under 0.5% owned at the minimum price. And I feel like I made it clear, if Juju is out, we are hammering him home. That is going to be the Tank Down the Puka Nakua play. That's not exactly occurring, but he is over 10 fantasy points. So pretty fun stuff there. Tyson Bagent's looking good as well. So I'm having a fun time early on this Sunday. We'll see if that attitude continues in this afternoon slate when the LA Rams don't show up, because I have a decent amount of exposure to them. But looking at right now, guys, we got Miami versus Philly. Going to be a nice game. Okay. Closest game on the slate in general this full Sunday, and also the highest scoring game. So this is definitely the game that really everyone's been waiting for. It should be the game where finally the primetime game is going to be right, based off of how Vegas saw it, based off of the hype. We haven't really had a good primetime game. I mean, heck, I would say Thursday Night Football's game was probably the best primetime game we've had in recent memory. I don't remember week 1 and week 2 too much, but this is one of the better games on Thursday night, and this one should be the best game. Looking at it right now, the biggest takeaways for DFS purposes, I will say, is Quez Watkins is on the IR for the Eagles. That's going to lead to probably Zacchaeus getting a lot of work in this game. Now, they did sign Julio Jones. I don't know if he's going to play a lot today or if he's going to play at all yet. That is news that we are still waiting on, but I do think that Zacchaeus is going to be really a top-notch value play. We have seen him step up into this role before and play pretty well. And he was already someone that was playing a decent amount of snaps. This is a game in which should be high scoring, so I do think we are going to see a lot of 11 personnel. Probably not too much 10 personnel. Dallas Goedert is going to stay on the field, but we're just going to see a lot of 3 receiver sets, I think. And now looking at it for the Dolphins, they are going to be without Chris Brooks, who is a player that I really love. You guys probably know that. Devon Achane, obviously. Ezekama is still out. River Craycraft is out as well. So we're going to see a lot of kind of snaps opened up for this game. Worth knowing, Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be back, so that pretty much means Ahmed is going to be a non-factor in this game. He didn't really look all that great last week. And so just looking at the snap counts from last week, Durham Smythe still getting a ton of work at the tight end position. Maybe someone we're looking at. Cedric Wilson surprisingly got some more work. And we have seen that since Ezekama has been on the IR and since River Craycraft, hasn't been playing, we have seen them kind of resort to him a little bit more. Braxton Berrios is someone that I think we can guarantee. Where is he at? Guarantee that he's going to get around 30% of the snaps or so. He has seen kind of a steady decline in his snaps. I do think that this matchup with Philly makes more sense to get him more work. He is someone that you can use across the middle of the field. I'm not saying he's going to have a big game, but maybe someone we're looking at for value as well. And so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start with Miami. So this is a game that's going to be very difficult because we know we want to be targeting the studs. There are 4 players on each team that we should be looking at, right? So we're going to have to try to find some sort of value. And this might be a stupid thing that I do, but I might be trying to find a very low play like Cedric Wilson, maybe even Berrios, to put into the captain spot. Now, a lot of people are probably just going to be rolling with Jeff Wilson to do that, expecting him to get a big role. And the question mark that I have is, I touched on this last week, is that are we going to see that Ezekama role that became the Achane role? Are we going to see Mostert kind of fall into that role? Because that's what's best for the team, where we're going to see Mostert do a lot more ends arounds, where 2 running backs are on the field. Jeff Wilson is going to be the RB1 in that situation. That could occur. The issue that I have is that Mostert has looked like a stud, really CMC, Mostert, and then Travis Etienne. It's those 3, and they all have looked good too. It's not I don't know. It's just weird. Is he an old back, and is it weird that's happening? Yes, but I still expect him to have a good game. The thing that with Mostert is I do expect him to get some work in the passing game. McDaniel will be able to find ways to get him the ball. This defense is good at stopping the run. No doubt about that. I do think this offense is just flowing as well as it is, that we're going to find ways to get Mostert the ball. So to me, I like him. It does feel like we almost have to fade Tyreek or Tua, because I really love the price point of Jalen Waddle. And so I kind of want to be playing him because to me, it does feel like he's going to have 15 points in this game. I was looking at the props sheet. That's going to be a video that's posted before this. One of the better bets is actually Jalen Waddle for his fantasy score. So that's a prop that I really do like. I mentioned Berrios. He does feel a little bit priced up. You could look at one of the kickers. I don't think we need to do that. Ahmed, we're not touching. And so it's a pretty concentrated player pool in terms of who we want to be on. Smythe is more or less a shoulder shrug play. If you end up on him, you're okay with it. So let's look at Philly here. Philly, a little bit easier because the pricing is a little bit more spread out. Zacchaeus, can you get lucky with a touchdown? I mean, Sure, but that's probably not going to happen. He's a better play than Durham Smythe, for that same price tag. So you could play him. He's someone that I'm perfectly fine with playing. But once again, more of a shoulder shrug play if we're trying to open up some value, because it's pretty simple. We want to be going Jalen Hurts. I think we want to be going AJ Brown. The biggest question mark I have is DeAndre Swift, who did have a really good game again last week, was used a lot in the passing game. So I think it's pretty clear that he's going to get a lot of work. Now, I do want to point out, last week, he saw his least amount of snaps in a while, and Kenneth Gainwell got a lot of work. They were playing from behind, so it did seem like we saw a little bit more Kenneth Gainwell. And if this game's a shootout, maybe Miami gets ahead. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I just worry about them showing up in this game. Like right away. I do think it's going to be a great game, but I think Philly could get up ahead early. So I do think it's going to be Swift, but it does kind of feel like a situation where we could play Swift. If we're not, maybe we get lucky with a Kenneth Gainwell touchdown at a very cheap price tag. But we can see kind of based off of the lineup path I've going here, we can kind of easily fit him in there. I do think Devonta Smith's going to be in for a good game. I mentioned this on the prop video. To me, it kind of feels like we are choosing between Smith or Goddard. I don't really care. I would say Goddard at a cheap price tag is a little bit more appealing. He just came off of a big game against the Rams, had a decent game against the Jets. That could easily happen against Miami. Honestly, guys, it's a slate in which it's simple because we are trying to just fit in the most amount of studs that we can. And so that's going to be the approach. So looking at it, I kind of want to play Mostert in the captain spot because to me, he's like the lowest price guy that I could see like really breaking the slate, and not many people are going to be on him. I will say Swift, Goddard, that could happen as well. I don't mind that. I'm trying to get unique a little bit. So Mostert there. And then this is what sucks. So like, then you're really leaving yourself strapped. And that's why I'm saying like, it might be a situation where we really try to get lucky with Jeff Wilson in the captain spot. Then we could even fit Tyreek. Let's see if we can fit Mostert in there. Who would we go down from? We could go down from Waddle. I guess I'd be fine with that too. Goddard. Like, that's fine. I like this build. And so that's what I mean. Like, if we are on, not going to say we're going to be on all the top scorers, but let's just assume Tyreek Hill's the top scorer. Hurts is the top scorer. Brown's the top scorer. And I think Mostert will be one of the top scorers. If you guys want to go Swift instead to save for some salary savings, I'm okay with that. That makes sense. Then you could easily pay up, get to Smith. You guys could then not play Wilson in the captain spot, but to me that does open up a lot. And so guys, that is going to be it. I do want to call out, like, the Thursday night football game I thought was going to be a bad game, and that ended up being pretty darn easy to cash in. It was kind of sweat free. It went as expected. Really, I thought it was going to be more difficult to predict, and that's kind of how I feel about this game as well. Like, we kind of know the lineup process, but at the same time, could it be a little bit more difficult? And I'm more expecting that this game, just because it's going to be a shootout. We know who the top plays are. It's just difficult to get them all into our build. So needless to say, this might not be one that I'm attacking as much. I'm definitely going to enjoy it as a fan. I actually like it more for props betting, so make sure to check out that video. That's going to be all for tonight's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.